Hey everybody, this is Math for Friday. I know we don't often have math on Friday, but we need to finish our math book. So there's no test today. There will be one next week and the week after that. Today we will have a lesson, okay? Today we are on set 134 for Math 65, and this is adding and subtracting fractions, part 3. So up to this point, every time we've added or subtracted fractions, they've either had like denominators or one of the denominators could change into one of the other denominators. Today we're going to talk about having both different denominators. So for example, if we have 1/2 plus 1/3, up to this point we've looked at our smaller denominator and said, can that become our larger one? Well, no, it cannot. So, 2 cannot multiply to become 3. So today what we're going to do is we're going to change both denominators to equal the same number. And in this lesson, what we're going to do, and this is, you will learn other things later, but for this lesson, we actually are just going to multiply them by each other to have like denominators. So remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So I'm going to multiply 2 by 3/3. And I'm going to multiply 3 by 2/2. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Let me add. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we remember when we're adding, our denominator stays the same. That's why we have to have like denominators. And 3 plus 2 is 5. So my answer is 5/6. Let's try another one. So just make sure that you remember to change both sides, and that whatever you do to the denominator, you also do to the numerator. Okay, so say we have 2/3 minus 1/2. So the very first thing we have to do is get them in the same shape, which means we have to have their denominators the same for adding and subtracting. So I'm going to multiply each of the sides by the other denominator. And whatever I do to my bottom, I have to do to my top. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So I now have 4/6 minus 3/6. Okay, 4 minus 3 is 3. Sorry, no, it's not. What the heck? 4 minus 3 is 1. 6 stays the same. So we have 1/6. Okay, and that is all for that lesson. So let's go, and you guys, let's have you do practice problems. I want you to do some addition and some subtraction. So do B, C, E, F. B, C, E, F for your practice problems. And then you are on set 134, which is even. So you have evens, and let me see if you have an extra one. Number 19, evens and 19. Okay, so that is all for set 134. Math 76, you are on set 132. Your lesson for today, the volume of a cylinder. Okay, imagine pressing a quarter down into a block, like a cube of soft clay. As the quarter moves into the clay, it creates a hole in the clay the shape of a cylinder. So think of like a toilet paper roll, or you know what a cylinder is. Circular container that's long. As the quarter moves into the clay, it creates a hole the shape of a cylinder. The area of the quarter sweeps out a cylinder as it moves through the clay. We can calculate the volume of the cylinder by multiplying the area of the circular face of the quarter times the distance it moved through the clay. Okay, so I actually am going to show you a picture of what this is talking about. So on the top you see the cube with the quarter being pressed through, and then it's formed the cylinder. Okay. The diameter of this cylinder is 20 centimeters. Its height is 10 centimeters. What is the volume? To calculate the volume of the cylinder, we find the area of a circular end of the cylinder. So remember how we found the area of a circle. That's exactly what we're going to be doing again for the first step. So we find the area of the circular end of the cylinder and multiply that area by the height of the cylinder. Okay, since the diameter of this cylinder is 20 centimeters, the radius is going to be 10 centimeters, right? This is telling me all the way across, so I know my radius is, let's draw it in here, halfway. So it's going to be 10 centimeters. So we're going to take this and flip this top part so it looks like it is up, okay? So that is our 20 centimeters, and we know that we just need half. And to find the area of that, we are going to, remember, find the area of the square there. So we know that that is 10 centimeters times 10 centimeters, which equals 100 centimeters squared. Do not forget your square. Volume is going to have 3 multiplications in it, so you have to make sure that you are multiplying your centimeters by centimeters. Okay? Now, we know that to finish finding this area, we have to multiply this by pi, 3.14, which multiplication makes it bigger. There are 2 zeros in 100, so we bump it over 1, 2, and we are left, and then we multiply the centimeters squared. So we're left with 314 centimeters squared, okay? Now we need to take that and multiply it by the height. So we have to go back here to our original one that told me our height is 10 centimeters. So we need to multiply this by 10. Now 10 has 1 0, so remember we have to, that's where our decimal place moves. So we're gonna actually move it 1 more, fill that in with a 0. So we have 3,140. Now, oh, let me not forget this. We multiplied it by 10 centimeters, okay? So then we have centimeters, and we have centimeters cubed times centimeters, centimeters squared. My mouth goes faster. Like I'm thinking ahead of what I'm saying. Okay, so we have centimeters times centimeters squared, which is centimeters cubed. Volume has a cubed label every time. That's volume because you're multiplying 3 different things, okay? So we have 3,140 centimeters cubed. We find that the volume of the cylinder is approximately, another way to say this, 3,140 cubic centimeters, okay? So that is just taking what we learned and finding area of a circle by multiplying the diameter, squaring the diameter, multiplying it by pi, and then multiplying it by the height. So you guys just have 1 practice problem for that. And this is set 132, so it is an even set if you are on half sets. Okay, and your problem is actually included, so you do not have any extra numbers. Please let me know if you guys have help, need help, and have a great day.